are Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Brandon.
Today, Brandon's filling in for Vince. And Brandon, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yes, it has. It's been over a year. I was looking online, and the last time I was on one of the shows, it was January.
But Brandon's back.
10.
He's going to start filling in again occasionally.
Yes, that's the plan.
All right, fantastic. Here we are. And Brandon, what is our topic today?
Our topic is things that if you find these things in movies, you will fall for the movie almost every time. Like, it's something you're a sucker for in any movie.
Yeah, or at least it's going to make you a lot more...
your disposition will be towards liking it.
That's right, even if it's not that good. Because everything I put down, I can think of movies I really don't like to have these in them.
I kind of can too, unfortunately, but that's just the way it's going to go. I mean, you're not gonna win every single time, really.
Oh, and also, this is Jason.
Hello, Jason.
We're hanging out with
This is Vince right here. Vince kind of has the Benjamin Button syndrome.
In case you haven't met my son before, this is Jason, and he's hanging out with us, and he's apparently upset because you're just going to have to memorize your list.
I guess so. Don't look at my list.
No, I didn't. Okay, all right. So, we each picked 3 things that we think are great in movies most of the time, and that we're just kind of suckers for. Brandon, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is mystery or intrigue, and I'm thinking along the lines of like National Treasure. I loved the National Treasure movies just because of I call it diabolical intrigue in National Treasure. I mean, you can argue that it was cheesy or that it couldn't really happen, but I mean, come on, you find maps on the back of the Declaration of Independence, that type of thing. I love it. I love that type of thing. And you know, I'm not so much necessarily a fan of Nicolas Cage, but you know.
Well, it was something with like National Treasure. It was kind of over the top.
It was,
and
yes,
I kind of liked that about it.
Yeah.
Where part of what's fun about it is that it doesn't work. Is that it just doesn't quite work.
That is part of the hilarious nature of the movie.
Brandon, my number 3 is Velociraptors.
Velociraptors, okay.
I don't know. I love Velociraptors.
So Jurassic Park is in the bag.
It's in the bag, man. It's in the bag, and they don't have to be amazing as long as they got really great Velociraptor scenes.
All right.
Once again, that doesn't make me any less critical. Everybody knows that I'm, how critical I am of movies. But I have this weird thing where with comics. Flipping through a comic and it's got a Velociraptor in it, especially, and let me also say that it's more Velociraptors in places where you don't usually see them, where I get really excited if I'm like, boy, it's like cowboys and then there's a Velociraptor, or, just weird, and I guess more broadly, I enjoy things that don't quite fit together sometimes.
I can understand that.
And I think that's what's selling Cowboys and Aliens.
Like the anachronisms. Okay, Cowboys and Indians,
no, I mean Cowboys and Aliens.
You said Aliens.
I did.
When I saw the first
those
trailer...
are 2 things that go together.
When I saw the trailer for Cowboys and Aliens, I literally fell out of my seat because I could not believe. And the only way to describe to somebody who hasn't seen it is literally cowboys and aliens.
That's it. I mean,
I couldn't believe that. I don't know if I'm going to see it in the theater, but I really, really want to see that movie.
I'm going to be very surprised if it's not awesome. It's Jon Favreau directing.
Yeah.
Favreau's great. It's based on a graphic novel, so the story's already there. Yeah.
That's cool.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is fast and/or classic cars.
Really?
Right. There's my geeky side coming out, the and/or type of thing.
Uh-huh.
And but yes, fast or classic cars, and I'm talking to like my absolute favorite movies are the Back to the Future movies. Right. And they've got a DeLorean, and it's not necessarily the fastest car, but it's a classic car. It is one of my favorite cars, and I mean, those movies are great, but like the Fast and the Furious, those movies, I really like those just because
I was going to ask you if you were into those, yeah.
I am. I've only seen a couple of them. I need to see all of them, but I mean, just that
type
of...
The new one got really good ratings.
Yeah, that type of thing just really fascinates me. I love cars in general, and one of these days, I used to have a Honda Accord. That was a really nice car. It wasn't a classic, but it was relatively fast. And I love that type of thing.
Do you like cars?
I do like cars.
I was going to ask you.
Cars are some of my favorite things.
No, the movie.
That's one of my favorites.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, I was going to ask you about that because I love that movie too, and we've been talking about this a lot lately on the channel because Cars 2 came out, and I've been kind of on the rampage because it got slammed by a lot of reviewers just because it's not. I keep saying because it's not the second coming of Christ, because that's what people expect Pixar to be.
I haven't seen Cars 2 yet, but I saw Cars 1, and it's one of my favorites.
Because for a lot of people, Cars is kind of at the bottom of Pixar's barrel, and it's not for me. Like I really dug it.
I liked it a lot. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is a jazz or a swing score.
Yeah?
Yeah, sucker for jazz music.
And that's my cell phone.
Is your phone going off?
It is going off. Give me 5 seconds to just... I'm expecting a laptop to come in somewhere, and I don't know who's calling me. They can leave a message.
Okay, cool.
Jazz New York can leave a message.
New York called me right before this. I don't know who it was. It just said New York. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about. So it's not. It doesn't just have to be in period stuff either. You know what I mean? Like big band swing era, and again, Pixar movies like Monsters Inc. and Incredibles just filled with really good jazz score. But like classic Disney movies too, a lot of them.
Did you like what was the Moulin Rouge? Did you like that movie?
You know, I haven't seen it. Embarrassingly enough, I've not seen
Chicago?
I'm just not big into musicals, so I haven't seen it. Yeah, but I need to, but I just haven't. Yeah.
Well, maybe to get
just the look on your face, you're like
at least get the soundtracks because you'd probably like the soundtracks.
Yeah. Have you seen Catch Me If You Can?
Oh my God, I love that movie.
And it's got that score, yeah.
Catch Me If You Can was great, and I'll give you a little anecdote about Catch Me If You Can.
All
right. Before I'd ever heard of the movie, before I even knew it was in production, I was out in California, and we were trying to go to on the Ontario International Airport. We were flying back to KC, and we got there, and all signs said LAX for Los Angeles International Airport. And we're like, what's going on? And our driver informed us that he said that they're filming a movie here, and that's why the signs were changed. And they said, look for a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, what on earth? And then I kind of forgot about that, and then Catch Me If You Can came out, and then I realized who it was and where it was filmed, and I'm like,
that's the movie.
My God, we were there. We were there during filming. We didn't see anybody, but we were there during filming.
And also just happens to be a really good movie.
It was a really good movie.
What's your number 1?
And my number 1 is, where's my paper? Oh, Jason.
Jason's got it.
And the winner is, thank you, Jason. The winner is any intense, passionate, or otherwise love stories in movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm a sucker for love stories.
You're going to air out your dirty laundry right here on GNN and say I'm a sucker for love stories?
Love stories,
That's awesome.
My guilty pleasure. And I tell you what, one movie that I really like...
Jason's a sucker for sticky notes.
I guess so.
If there's a sticky note in the movie.
A movie that I really liked, and you can argue that it was a major chick flick, was Something's Gotta Give.
I didn't see it.
And that had Jack Nicholson in it, and I can't remember who the main lady was, but I like that movie. And anything that's got a kind of a love story going on, if it's really intense, I am a deep-seated romantic, just from the base of it. And I believe in love, I really do, and that's one of the things that keeps me going. And you know.
I'm not gonna say I don't have that at all. You know what I mean?
Like,
right. There are some quote unquote chick flicks that I like, or at least things that are borderline.
But if it's got a love story in it, I think it's called Music from Another Room. I like that movie and things like that. That really gets me. What's your number 1?
My number 1. Thanks, Jason. I gotta
is Jason. Exactly Jason is your number 1.
If I see him in a movie, my number 1 is deeply involving mythos.
Okay.
Deeply involving mythos, Star Trek, The Matrix, stuff like that. It might ultimately turn out that the story isn't great and the characterization's not quite there. I got it. But if it starts with that, it's gonna nab me at first. You know what I mean? Where you've got just a really involving universe.
Right.
That's always a big deal for me. One that didn't work, for instance, is Underworld. That's a movie I just didn't care for, and because it had that mythos and it was interesting, but the pacing wasn't working for me. I had some issues with a lot of the dialogue delivery in that film, and so then it just kind of fell apart. But I mean, like, I didn't used to be big into vampires.
Yeah.
And then I saw Buffy and Angel.
You saw Twilight, right?
No. See, there's a thing where it needs some better mythos. But you know, you get into I got into Buffy and Angel, and really, really just really deep-seated, rooted mythos.
Yeah.
And they have a really good handle on their continuity.
Yeah.
And
I can understand that.
They keep most everything together, and it's just really impressive how thick it is.
Isn't that Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon, yeah.
Yeah, Joss. Yeah, I said Josh, didn't I?
Right.
Joss Whedon, yeah. He's an interesting character in and of himself.
Well, and all of his stuff's like that.
Yeah, I know.
Firefly and Serenity. Here's 13 episodes and a movie, and a really complicated mythology.
Right. Now, does that span over into things like that Titan movie? I saw that. What was the name of it?
Clash of the Titans?
Clash of the Titans.
Oh, you mean like just mythology?
Mythological.
Not necessarily, and I like some things that are based in like Greek and Roman myth and things like that. But that by itself doesn't just do it for me. Yeah.
Okay.
And like. Because I'm not generally huge into like cosmic stuff and I know that that gods aren't necessarily cosmic, but I mean like I'm not usually huge into cosmic and huge into God stuff, but
right.
But it can have that. It just depends. So anyway, that's mine.
Well, I'd like to kind of recap on this by saying something. We mentioned that these aren't going to be hits every time.
Yeah, right.
And I'd tell you something that that was one of my where's my list? May I have my list, Jason? One of my things on here, like that didn't work for me, mystery and intrigue. Indiana Jones 4.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just missed it by miles. Now,
my thing with Indy 4, let me ask you this: did it just bug you that it was aliens? Like, was that enough to tick you off? Because for me, I was like, okay, aliens, fine, but did it have to be another universe? Well, did we have to go that far?
Here's the thing: is that
it's aliens? No, it's interdimensional.
Is that according to everyone's beliefs are a little different, you know. So according to that, you know, there's going to be somebody who doesn't believe in some of the things that are in the other movies, like whether or not it's the Ark of the Covenant, or if it was the temple and all that type of stuff. So not that I don't believe in aliens, but it was they can do aliens because it's another one of those
That's
things.
what I liked about it.
That's what I liked about it too.
It was another one of those things that people just don't believe in. And
right.
There it is.
They could do that because all the rest of them did that, but it was how they did it.
Yeah.
I really was disappointed with the. I don't even mind the nuclear explosion that blasted him in. I thought that was
notorious
fun.
Fridge thing.
The fridge.
It didn't bother me like it bothered everybody else either,
right.
but I get it.
I liked it. It may have been stupid, but it was campy, and I liked it. It's like early Batman campy. But it was how they brought the aliens about, and that didn't do it for me. And I just figured I'd give at least one example of how something that I really like in a movie just didn't work.
I guess for me, all you really got to do is I just don't
Danger,
want to
Will Robinson.
I just don't want to knock the camera. I guess all you really got to do is put Velociraptors in Sin City, and I'm happy.
Oh my goodness, Velociraptors! No,
right? Because Sin City has got a pretty interesting mythology, and it's got a jazz score. So just put some Velociraptors in there, and then I'm good.
That'd be cool. So if you could combine, Back to the Future with some sort of National Treasure, okay,
well, you could do that easy.
You could do that easy in that they did go back in time. They could have buried the DeLorean with the treasure, the National Treasure, and then you could have this love story where Nicolas Cage steals Marty McFly's girlfriend.
Well, hey, thanks a lot for watching Geeks Not Nerds, and let us know what your 3 big things are that immediately get you sucked into a movie, and if there's something you'd like us to talk about in a future video, leave that in the comments as well. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Jason. I'm Vince. I'm Brandon.
And I'll be back with Vince next time.
Hi, and welcome to Geeks Not Nerds. I'm Brandon, and this is Jason. He'll be my counterpart today. And we'll be talking to you about things in movies that would otherwise persuade you to like the movie more than you would dislike the movie otherwise. And now you're climbing on me.